Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek, and happy Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve, yay! 24th of December. Got my lights on, got my hat on. Festive or what? Blech. Anyway, obviously there's not much happening in the world of entertainment at the moment because it's Christmas, but there are some news stories out there. I think a lot of the news sites are putting up things that they've written earlier. So anyway, we've got a thing on Deadline about Bob Iger. It's called Bob Iger's Christmas Carol and the Ghosts of Past, Present and Future. So let's have a look at that, shall we? There it is. Oh, I'm going to have to move that, aren't I? I'm going to have to adjust that. There we go. Right. And there's the worst Photoshop ever. I mean, Deadline, you're a big company. You're one of the main, media sources for Hollywood. And you can't do a better Photoshop than that. I mean, that is awful, isn't it? I could do better than that. In 5 minutes. Right, go away, articles. There we go. Anyway, in about 698 days, the Walt Disney Company is supposed to have its fourth CEO in 3 years. Yeah, because Bob Iger's only up for like 2 or 3 years, isn't it? Is it 2 years? Well, I don't know. Optimistically presuming that past and current House of Mouse Bob Iger really does hand over the keys to the Magic Kingdom in late 2024. It's not going to a designated successor, the soon-to-be 100-year-old media giant, that's Disney, not Bob Iger, may look very different than it does now, it's not far off really, well, he's in his 70s, as could the contracting industry overall. It's a reality in a self-described age of great anxiety that Iger himself is markedly responsible for in many ways, but rarely is held accountable for. He's responsible for all Disney's woes at the moment because he had a spend attitude, didn't he? Buying Marvel and Pixar, Disney, Lucasfilm, Fox. I mean, the Fox one was the backbreaker, I think. Anyway, Iger gets a lot of praise as an executive, a lot of it well-deserved, because he's a PR fella, isn't he? I know he was a weatherman or something originally, wasn't he? But he's good at PR and the old Uncle Bob thing that he exuded. What's the word? Projected. He projected this Uncle Bob, kind of image, didn't he? Anyway, noted, Iger gets a lot of praise as an executive, a lot of it well-deserved, noted an agency captain of the Disney vet, who returned on November 20th to the CEO job he handed to Bob Chapek less than 2 years ago. He only did it because of COVID, I think. He thought, COVID's going to wreck the economy, all the lockdowns and everything. The economy's going to be wrecked, so I'll just hand it over to somebody else and then sack them and say it was their fault when things start picking up again. But one of his greatest accomplishments may be sidestepping his missteps, the billions in debt that came with the Fox purchase, going all in on streaming, hemorrhaging TV and ESPN viewership. I mentioned a few shows ago about the Disney Channel, and he had the Disney Channel and Disney what were it called? The one that used to show Clone Wars had an X in it. It wasn't called Disney X, or it was Disney X something. And are they still going? I don't know. I haven't checked on my, because I'm still a cable customer. Are they still on my cable things? I don't know. Shall we have a look? Hang on. Where's my remote? Hang on, here it is. Just bear with me. I'll take my channel guide. I don't know how to look. Where will it be? Kids stuff. I don't know where kids stuff is on here. Oh, there we go, down there. Why aren't it showing them? Do I not subscribe to kids' things? I thought I paid for the full Monty. Anyway, it's not there. Nick Jr., Boomerang, CITV. No Disney. So is Disney not a thing anymore? Cartoon Network. It's not on my Cartoon Eater. No, it's not on mine anyway. So that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But it doesn't exist on my cable package. Where were we? Hemorrhaging TV and ESPN viewership and the Succession fiascos alone would have killed any other CEO. Lauded by some as the man in the centre of the room where it happens, in a nod to his beloved Hamilton, which I've never seen. One studio insider added of Iger, he's Teflon like Reagan, but left a lot of mess over the years for others to clean up like Bill Clinton. Still eulogised and feted by fellow Grand Viziers, both during his previous stint running Disney and during his short-lived but socially crammed retirement, Iger will wake up on Christmas morning facing a new year likely full of economic austerity and hard choices as the company and the entertainment business heads deeper into choppy waters. I mean, he wanted to go into politics, didn't he? Hang on, that's not displaying, is it? I do apologise. Yeah, we'll move that over. Hope that hasn't affected other things. I think we were all right at the beginning, won't we? Because there were pictures in the way. We should be all right now. What we're going to say? Oh, I wanted to go into politics, didn't he? We're going to run for president and all that. Is that still going to happen? Don't know. You never know these days. You do like your geriatric presidents over there, don't you? Hey dear. Because we've got a young up-and-coming Prime Minister over here who's useless. Anyway, perhaps in his sleep, Iger will have heard whispers from ghosts like one-time heir presumptive Tom Stagg's, real-life successor Chapek and Apple boss and pal Tim Cook. Perhaps such ghosts recited Percy Bysshe Shelley's poem Ozymandias, and, as in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, see, they're assuming that you know what they're on about. I have no idea what they're talking about. Well, the only Ozymandias I know is the one that were in Watchmen. And as in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, showed the 71-year-old Iger frightening visions of the past, present and future. Perhaps he will be haunted by sins of the past that could determine his and the company's next era. Ooh, Bob, Iger, you'll be visited by that. You know the story. But I bet it was more like Muppets Christmas Carol. Leave the jokes to the bears. After checking the Avatar The Way of Water box office in the pre-dawn hours, I mean, a lot of people forget that that's still Disney, isn't it? That is still Disney because it's a Fox film. It's not a Fox, is it? It's a 20th Century Studios film, which is Disney. We still wish they'd put Fox back on. Maybe they can't for legal reasons. Because I think there's a separate Fox thing, and Fox News and all that is separate, isn't it? I don't think Disney bought that part, did they? I might be wrong, I don't know. After checking the Avatar The Way of Water box office in the pre-dawn hours and looking out over Brentwood, the notoriously early rising Iger may have started mulling over the usefulness of that checklist of optimism, courage, focus, decisiveness, curiosity, fairness, thoughtfulness, authenticity, and various other thesaurus words, the relentless pursuit of perfection and integrity he laid out as principles of true leadership. Described in his 2019 Ride of a Lifetime memoir, ticking off another day on his present 2-year contract as Disney CEO and looking for the icebergs in front of him and the pressing need to pick a corporate heir. He did all this before, didn't he, and it went tits up, in his opinion. Iger may ask himself, why the hell did I agree to do this again? Ka-ching! It certainly wouldn't be an unprecedented question in an industry. Not just ka-ching, it's a power, innit? It's a power thing. It certainly wouldn't be an unprecedented question in an industry that Rupert Murdoch and Iger himself recently predicted would see the big screen becoming smaller. Linear TV collapse and streaming confront a culling. The November coup against Chapek, orchestrated by Chief Financial Officer Christine McCarthy, a.k.a. Cruella DeVille, because she just does look a little bit like Cruella DeVille, and the sudden Back to the Future change in Disney's corner office followed a bleak end of fiscal 2022. The company last month issued revised guidance for single-digit revenue. What does that mean? I have no idea. And profit growth in 2023. Oh, does it mean in percentage, like, 1%, 5% growth? I presume that's what it means. A fraction of the gains outlined in previous internal and Wall Street forecasts. By the way, last year, in 2022, yeah, that's what year we're in now, isn't it? Disney made, their films generated just over $4 billion worldwide in revenue or profits. Maybe profits, I don't know. $4 billion in profits. It could be revenue, I don't know. I looked, but I've forgotten. But that was 2022. In 2019, it was 11 billion. So in 3 years, it's gone down by nearly 2/3. nearly 2/3. So that's not good, is it? Still profit though. If it were profits, I'm sure it were profits, not revenue. Anyway, where were we? Wall Street forecasts. While Disney's focus on streaming has yielded strong results in ever-growing subscriber totals, the initiative has also become a financial drain, causing almost $1.5 billion in operating losses in just the most recent quarter. That's Disney Plus, isn't it, what they're talking about? The brass has insisted that the worst losses are in the rearview mirror, and they still expect streaming to become profitable by next fiscal year. The trouble is there's too much streaming now. There's too many streaming services that you're paying extra for. It's become the new cable, hasn't it? People were cutting the cable, wanted to save money, and now they're doing exactly the same thing with the umpteen streaming services that there is. Despite the talk of wish fulfillment, though, investors haven't responded well to the company's narrative. After a short-lived rally on the news of Iger's return, Disney shares... that's why... Sorry, I'm getting distracted again. That's why Netflix was so popular to begin with, because it brought in films and TV shows from all different companies and put them in one place. And that's why it became the giant that it is now. And that's why it's losing subscribers now, because... it's its own thing, more or less, isn't it? But when it had things coming from all over, from Disney and, Universal and MGM and, all the different studios and Fox and all them, it was a big boy, wasn't it? But those days have ended. Because the companies got greedy. Anyway, after a short-lived rally on the news of Iger's return, Disney shares have recently slumped to multi-year lows below $90. They have declined more than 40% in 2022 to date. I think not as much as IDW, the comic thing. they could be going off the stock market soon. Anyway, not that I'm into comics much. I do buy one occasionally, but... From like IDW, it's one of the biggest ones, isn't it? There's Marvel and DC, and then I think IDW was probably the next, isn't it? And it used to be shares a few years ago, something like $40 a share, something like that. But now it's down to, it's less than $1, it's 90-odd cents, isn't it? And apparently, if it stays at that for over 30 days, it gets booted out of the, whatever it's, New York Times share thing. I don't know, I'm not a business person. Stock exchange, that's the thing I'm looking for. Where were we? They have declined more than 40% in 2022 to date. Not the steepest drop in the battered media sector, but an unsettling one for investors in a Dow component. Dow Jones, that's it. Dow component, long known as a beacon of stability. It's a bar humbug state of affairs that puts Iger's shortcomings as well as strengths in the spotlight as his latest swan song commences. I thought that was one word. Never mind. Right, Ghosts of Disney Past. We're off to the races now. Woo! I am the ghost of Disney Past. Tom Staggs literally saved Iger's life in 2003 by using the Heimlich manoeuvre, not Heimlich from A Bug's Life. Candy corn. By using the Heimlich manoeuvre to dislodge a chicken bone that was caught in the choking exec's windpipe. However, in a series of ruthless moves, Iger repaid that debt by kicking then heir apparent and COO, that's Chief Operating Officer, isn't it? Cool. To the curb in March 2016. A year after then, Chief Financial Officer and Chief Executive Officer contender Jay Rasulo was passed over for promotion and took the hint before he was pushed. Bob Chapek did get the CEO job in 2020, but Iger quickly made sure to never hand his successor real power while he was still at Disney. Once Iger left, the white gloves came off. The Mickey Mouse white gloves. You're out, asshole. Iger made it clear loudly to anyone who had lunch with him that he considered Chapek a failure, a former studio executive said. And of course, as soon as I'm recording the show, Princess, my gorgeous pussycat, is up at the window wanting to come in. I'm sure she can hear my voice. I'm sure she can. From wherever she is. She's out in the woods somewhere, exploring, catching mice, doing all the stuff that cats do. Probably just sleeping. But as soon as I start doing this, she's there. Anyway, I will continue and try to ignore her. Looking at the bottom line, Iger is revered for a triumvirate of acquisitions. Pixar in 2006 for $7.4 billion, Marvel in 2009 for $4 billion, Lucasfilm in 2012 for $4 billion, thanks to Kathleen Kennedy, you know. Usurped, I know he gave, George Lucas, you know, made her the chairwoman of Lucasfilm, didn't he? Handed her the power, and straight away she went to Disney. That's my opinion, anyway. She stabbed him in the back. Gosh, he's evil. Anyway, Lucasfilm, 2012, $4 billion. That have more than made back their purchase price. It's a bit close with Lucasfilm, isn't it? I know Marvel, yeah. Marvel's made lots of money. I think Pixar probably has as well. But Lucasfilm, that's pushing it. That's cutting it close. Not so the $71 billion for Fox. I mean, that's a lot in it, that. A price tag that scared away even Brian Roberts. I mean, Amazon paid what was like $8 billion for MGM. And MGM's, you know, one of the old classic studios, isn't it? Like 20th Century Fox. But $71 billion is a lot. Remember, Comcast offered $65 billion for the Murdoch-owned company, but waved the white flag after Disney topped the bid. Deal saddled Disney with a $19 billion debt that's followed it since, a debt that became hobbling during the pandemic when revenue streams for Disney, like everyone else in the industry, dried up. My glasses are sliding down my nose. It was thanks to CFO McCarthy that the company was able to manage the load. So that would be Samwise. And raise cash over those bleak months. Right, on to the next one. Ghost of Disney Present. Ooh. I'm the ghost of Disney Present. That would be Goofy impression. Because, whatever. Almost no one will argue that the transition to Bob Chapek as CEO in early 2020 was a smooth affair. Exacerbated, ask Shaun from Shaun of the Dead what that means. By the COVID-19 pandemic, Iger halted his exit and installed himself as executive chairman, effectively kneecapping the former Parks boss in his new position from the start, even before a public chill set in between the two, slowly walking his Disney retirement a number of times over the years. Even before he finally left at the end of 2021, Iger has put the brakes on a successor so many times, some doubt if he will really leave in 2024 and if he will have empowered anyone to take over. He's just waiting until the technology brings Walt Disney's severed head back to life in its little hovering glass case full of liquid, like you see in Futurama. It'll be like that with Walt Disney. And then Walt Disney can take over again. That's what he's doing. Wait for the technology to catch up. Where were we? The 2-year limit on his current contract places a successful succession as the top priority. But wishful thinking aside, that's simply not Iger's strong suit. Once this latest honeymoon is over, could the once-in-a-generation exec fail to pass the baton again and find himself shown the door by the board like his predecessor Michael Eisner? Right, Ghost of Disney Future. I am the ghost of... Oh, no, it doesn't speak as that one, though, does it? Just points with a hand, a bony finger. Grown exponentially by Iger over his previous 15-year bossman status, the Disney empire is now so big and so sprawling that there are few platforms or mediums they don't play a prominent, if not dominating, role in, which for some on the street, as in Wall Street, is part of the bottom line problem. Recently, after Mr. Merger, aka Iger, axed rumours of a deal with the $2.1 trillion market-capped Apple that no one took seriously, because there were rumours that Apple were going to buy Disney. Iger, not it seriously. Wells Fargo's Stephen Cahall, apologies, Steve, suggested Disney dumped dwindling ABC and ESPN to stem revenue losses. Despite that, belt tightening all over, it still looks more likely that the company will write Comcast a nice big juicy cheque in early 2024 to buy out the remaining 33% in Hulu, which we don't get in the UK, so Makes no difference to us. In Blighty, or the rest of the world for that matter. But America's so rich and so dominating in world business that it does. It still probably affects us. Iger likes deals and he loves acquisitions, so it is only a matter of time for the next one. Just watch. The Studio Insider prophesied. With the this insider is with the past relationship between Apple and Disney, never really say never there. I'll say that again. Never really say never there or never again. Never say never again. It's not a good film, is that really? Is it? It is. It's hard. It's fun, but it's no Thunderball. Anyway, there's always a chance Iger could make a move for Candle Media, never heard of them, and bring co-CEOs Kevin Mayer, who was the Mouse House's strategic planning head, and Tom Staggs back to Burbank to be on the Disney chief contenders shortlist. See, they assume you know all this business ins and outs, don't they, on Deadline? I mean, that's why they like their acronyms and stuff, don't they? Because they think you're in the know if you're reading Deadline. Not an idiot like me. Additionally, a centre-stage showman who knows how to keep the audience interested, Iger has over the years pivoted between revelling in his position as the Disney boss with the golden touch and rumblings of political office and more. They should call him Bob Midas. I know it sounds a bit like Iger, but never mind. He ain't got much of a golden touch at the moment, has he? Gaining headlines galore, underlings and flatterers have floated trial balloons of White House and gubernatorial bids. There you go. NFL ownership status, and even prestige ambassador postings. None of which have ever materialised. Is he the Antichrist? I wonder if he is, because Damien Thorne went for the ambassador thing, didn't he? And that's a Fox film. I just thought I'd mention that. None of which have ever materialised and have drawn giggles in electoral circles where Iger and Disney's track record with China alone is seen as a non-starter. Sorry, that China. Copyright 2021, whatever. Gary Beekler at Nerdrotic. TM. It seems a non-starter. Not that such a track record stopped Iger himself from throwing out there in a November 28th town hall that spouse Willow Bay encouraged his return to Disney so he wouldn't run for president. Don't think you've heard the last of this fantasy. Of course. Oh, funny noise there. Of course, with all that, not wanting to leave just coal in the Christmas stocking this holiday. I'm going to have to go check that. Just bear with me. Right, where were we? Where were we? Right. Of course, with all that, not wanting to leave just coal in the Christmas stocking this holiday, it would be negligent to ignore that Bob Iger is an executive with many, many strategic skills. Foremost among them must be his talent relations, his greatest superpower and virtue. Perhaps it is because there's undoubtedly still a splotch of the Long Island boy who dreamed of being a TV anchor inside the seasoned septuagenarian exec. But Iger has long had an innate ability to connect with creatives on both sides of the camera. Not only do you feel he hears you, but that he will protect you and your vision, a tentpole scribe said of the CEO. That deft touch developed the powerhouse silos that are Pixar, Marvel and Star Wars within the Disney empire and grew the theme parks in China and elsewhere. I don't think the China theme park's doing very well now, is it? Not that much is doing very well in China right now, apart from Chinese stuff. Iger's eye for talent also, more often than not, delegated the execution of corporate goals to trusted deputies, the likes of Alan Horn, Kevin Feige, Kathleen Kennedy, communications advisor Xenia Mucha, the once valued Chapek and Mayer, have they mentioned him before, probably, or her, I don't know, as well as Staggs and Rasulo, all kept those coveted spots, displaying the curiosity he mentioned in his Ride of a Lifetime book. Iger brought the likes of Peter Rice into the inner circle after the Fox acquisition. He lives and breathes Disney. He connects its success and impact to himself, and that will always drive him, a studio insider succinctly states. What's that? Inside. I always say studio insider. It's probably a fella that sits in the security booth, that operates the gate thing. So what you got for me today, Bill? They go up to him. Don't they? Anyway, so what would make for a storybook ending 2 years for Iger and Disney, playing the long game literally and figuratively? It's a long article, is this, isn't it? Even in an erratic market like we've seen the past few months and with talk of a recession, the Disney stock should stabilise once Wall Street picks up that the company once again has a strong leader. A leader who won't try to anticipate what will please the bankers with cost-cutting layoffs and shedding valuable assets, but rather one who aims to build a company worth investing in. They've got to start making money, haven't they? And stop making crap that panders, to a tiny minority. Widely extolled now, not everyone at the time saw the wisdom in purchasing Pixar. That's why, Top Gun is the biggest film of the year, because it didn't pander to minorities. It just made an entertaining film. That's why Avatar's doing well. Widely extolled now, not everybody at the time saw the wisdom in purchasing Pixar when Iger was courting Steve Jobs, or in Marvel or Lucasfilm. Remember, Pixar were originally a Lucasfilm company. Or in Marvel or Lucasfilm for that matter. Any studio in town could have made those deals, but Iger actually made those deals, while even more costly than ever with digital players like Amazon and YouTube place big bets. Live sports has shown itself to be a linchpin for streaming. Positioned for that reality, ESPN gives Disney the best beachhead brand name, so why sell it off? I think we do get ESPN over here, I think it's in my cable selection, but I never watch it. Our sports things, we get Sky Sports, BT Sports, Eurosport, which is great if you love winter sports, particularly now. Get a lot of skiing. I love watching skiing. I've no idea why. I've never been skiing. I've no intention to go skiing, but I love watching it. The downhill skiing. I don't care about ski jumping and stuff like that, but the downhill skiing where they're bombing down a mountain, it's cool. And what else? And that's about it, really. A few of the little sports channels, but ESPN, I don't know. I don't watch it. Where were we? ESPN gives best players. Why sell it off? Iger has stressed his 2.0 reign will return Disney to emphasising and empowering creatives over accountants. That's the thinking that empowered the likes of Marvel's Feige and Lucasfilm's Kennedy and positioned Disney for its ongoing historic content run that started about a dozen years ago. Not a doesn't. Doesn't make money years ago. Except for Marvel. Even the debt-heavy Fox acquisition can prove, except it's 20th Century Studios acquisition can prove to have a significant future forward payout if James Cameron and his Avatar sequels become another valuable silo for the screen and the parks. I think Avatar's going to make a lot of money. People are saying, it's not made as much as I thought, but give it time. I mean, never bet against James Cameron. Right, like any good narrative, the fact is confidence. Like any good narrative, the fact is confidence inspires confidence. Bob Chapek lost the support of the town, and the Susan Arnold-led Disney board. Oh God, read one of these days and speak. Because he shifted positions that robbed confidence in his judgment. If Iger can repeat and follow up on just some of his past success, it's very possible the CEO can achieve exactly what the board hoped he would by reinstating him last month. And the question will be this: if Iger truly is hard-pressed in 2 years to find a successor more capable than he, rather than risk being bored in retirement and preside over another possible Game of Thrones exercise that will lead more of his lieutenants, that's how I use the British pronunciation, to head for the exits if they don't get the crown, why not stay a while? Didn't work for Vince McMahon, did it? That could end up being a very nice early Christmas present for all concerned. Dade Hayes and Jill Goldsmith contributed to this report. Thank you, Dade and Jill. And that's it. We've got some comments. Let's have a look. Anonymous Photoshop shout out to the 1999 Patrick Stewart Christmas Carol. Nice choice. Streaming in the future, and he was smart to go all in. Only short-term financials don't see that, blah, blah, blah. Yes, streaming is the new cable. I said that, didn't I? The Photoshop's getting a lot of bother. Disney shareholders don't seem very happy. And there you go. Anyway, you can read that. Links in the description, obviously. Right, we'll leave it there. I just thought I'd read that. A little Christmas Eve joy. There he is. Bar humbug. But he's not going to be a bar humbug, is he? He's going to pander to everybody, except the popular people, not the majorities. He's going to continue pandering to the minorities. I'm sorry to sound misogynistic and all that, but they don't make the money, do they? It is the old saying, "Get woke, go broke," and it's true. People say, "Oh, it's not true." It is. It's true. So anyway, we'll leave it there. So anyway, Merry Christmas. Right, thanks for watching me going on Christmas Eve about Bob Iger, of all people. But tomorrow, I might do a live stream tomorrow showing my lovely presents that I've got myself. I'm sure I've got lovely presents from other people as well, but I know there's some I've got for myself that are lovely. So I might show them off tomorrow in a live stream. I don't know when it'll be. It'll be like, I don't know, lunchtime-ish or early afternoon, UK time. After we've had our Christmas dinner. Don't call it Christmas lunch. Christmas dinner. We have that about, lunchtime-ish or thereabouts. So it'll be after that. So I'll be burping and farting and all that stuff. I'm probably nearly falling asleep. And then do that, and then watch King Charles III do his first King's speech. Not called Queen's speech anymore, is it? It's the King's speech. Where it said on the news today, King Charles will talk about Queen's legacy. I thought, oh great, they did Bohemian Rhapsody and stuff, didn't they? That's a great legacy. Not the Queen's legacy, Queen's legacy. Thanks, BBC. Anyway, we'll leave it there. So, anyway, as I said, thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. If you don't come tomorrow to see me live stream, have a great day, and I'll see you. Look after each other, by the way, wherever you are in Christmas land. Look after each other and beyond, not just in Christmas land, because a lot of people don't celebrate Christmas. I think more people don't celebrate it than do. So, wherever you are, anyway, in the universe, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.